Hey guys, so today we have an analysis of the 2018 Senate map as of right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm starting off with the 2018 battleground according to 270 to win, and I'm taking out Texas, North Dakota, Tennessee, Mississippi special election, West Virginia, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and the Minnesota special election. So the remaining 17 races I do want to talk about just a little bit. So let's start off with the races that are probably going to go towards the Democrats in the likely Democratic column. So we'll start off with the state of Wisconsin. If you look at the polling data as of late, if we go into the Wisconsin Senate race, double-digit lead for the incumbent Democrat there, Tammy Baldwin. I'm putting this in the likely Democratic column. In Michigan, the polling has not been as favorable towards incumbent Democrat Debbie Stabenow, but it's still favorable towards the Democrats if you look. Beforehand, Stabenow was leading by a bit more, but now her lead has narrowed, but she is still leading by a significant margin. I'm going to keep it in the likely Democratic column. If we go ahead and look at the state of Ohio, the Senate race there, Jim Renacci versus Sherrod Brown. Average Brown plus 16. The latest poll has Brown up 18. This will, at the end of the day, I'm keeping it in the safe Democratic column. If we go ahead and look at Pennsylvania, the Senate race there, same thing with Ohio, Casey leading by 16%. I'm putting this in the safe Democratic column. And if we go ahead and look at the Minnesota special election, Tina Smith versus Karen Housley. Smith's lead has narrowed to 6 points, but she was leading by 16 points. The polling has suggested this is a lean Democratic state, but I'm putting it in the likely Democratic column because I believe that Amy Klobuchar, the Democrat there, can have a positive trickle-down effect onto Tina Smith and get her over 5% and get her over the finish line. So those are some of the states that, I just skipped one actually. If we go ahead and look at the West Virginia Senate race between Joe Manchin and Patrick Morrisey. Manchin leading by 16, by 12. This is likely to go to the Democrats in a likely Democratic scenario, especially considering that Manchin voted for Judge Kavanaugh. That can have a positive effect in the state of West Virginia. So we've gone over all the safe and likely Democratic states. Now we'll do the same for the Republicans. So we'll start off with the Mississippi special election. This is likely to go to the Republicans, unless the Republican candidate is not Cindy Hyde-Smith. I believe there's Chris McDaniel. There is a possibility of a Democratic upset, but at this point in time, this is likely to go over to the Republican column. If we, another state that is not likely, so we'll skip over it. So now let's go ahead and look at the leaning Democratic states, and we'll start off in the state of New Jersey. That one is a very close race, closer than many people expected. If we go ahead and look at the New Jersey Senate race, it's in single digits. That's not good for the incumbent Democrat. He is not a good candidate. He is a bad candidate outright. Menendez up 5, up 5, up 7, up 9. And that's because of his corruption in the state of New Jersey. Because of that, I'm putting it in the leaning Democratic column because it's just not the year for a Republican to win in New Jersey with the Democratic excitement. It will likely be about cancelled down with the Republican excitement for Bob Hugin, since Bob Menendez is not a great candidate. So that's it with the state of New Jersey. Another state that is leaning towards the Democrats, the state of Montana. If we go ahead and look at it, between Matt Rosendale and John Tester. Tester leading by 9, by 3, by 4, by 2. His lead has gone up, so that's something else to note. I'm putting this in the leaning Democratic column. So the races that are kind of left are really 50-50s, except for two states I'm going to characterize right now in the leaning Republican column. Firstly, the state of North Dakota. If we go ahead and look at the polling data, it's looking very favorable towards Kevin Cramer. The last two polls have had double-digit leads for Cramer, including one that has him up 16 points. That's something to note. This I'm putting actually in the likely Republican column, so I should have filled it in with Mississippi, but I didn't end up doing that for some reason. Another state in the leaning Republican column, the state of Tennessee. If we go ahead and look at the polling data, pretty favorable towards the Republican. It's leaning GOP. The latest poll has this with Bredesen +1, but there are a number of undecided voters. I don't believe that there's that many undecided voters in this state. The New York Times poll, which is very trustable, Blackburn up 14. This is going to go towards the Republicans in a leaning Republican poll. So now we have 6 races left to call. These are 50-50s. There are one more leaning Democratic state. That is the state of Florida. If we go ahead and look at the polls, very favorable towards Bill Nelson as of recently. Nelson up 4, Ty Nelson up 4, Scott +1, Nelson +1, Scott +1, Nelson up 8, Nelson +6. It's looking pretty favorable, and I'm keeping it in the leaning Democratic column. So now we actually have 5 races that could go either way. Nevada could go to Dean Heller or Jackie Rosen. Arizona could go to Martha McSally or Kristen Sinema. Texas could go to Ted Cruz or Beto O'Rourke. Missouri could go to Clay McCaskill or Josh Hawley. And Indiana could go to Joe Donnelly or Mike Braun. But I'm going to start off with the tilt Democratic states. So Indiana I see as a tilt Democratic state. Even though the polling has been going away from the incumbent there, it's if we go ahead and look at the 3-way race, there's 2 new polls come out that show Braun leading. But because of the Libertarian there, I believe that he or she, I think it's a he, that he could take away votes from Mike Braun, and that's why I'm putting it in the tilt Democratic column. Another state that is in the tilt Democratic column, the state of Arizona, between Kristen Sinema and Martha McSally. If we go ahead and look at the polling data as of late, Martha McSally is leading in the overall average, but the latest poll has Sinema leading. This is going to be one to watch, but at the end of the day, I think that the Democrats could narrowly take this one. If we go ahead and look at Nevada, this is a 50-50 toss-up. It could be going either way. It could really go either way. At the moment, Heller is leading in the average, but Clinton won the state. For that reason, I'm keeping it in the pure toss-up column. Another state I'm keeping in the pure toss-ups column, the state of Missouri, between Clay McCaskill and Josh Hawley. This could go either way. However, if we look at the recent polling, Clay McCaskill is losing. Hawley up 4 in the latest poll. That's not good news for Clay McCaskill. I'm narrowly putting this in the Republican column. That gets them to 50 seats that they need to retain the majority. If we go ahead and look at the state of Texas between Ted Cruz and Beto O'Rourke, this has gone away from the Democrats here as of late, but at the end of the day, you can expect this very, very narrowly to end up in the Republican column. That's because why it's not in the lean or likely column is because of the voter enthusiasm on O'Rourke's side, and that's very good, and he's keeping it very close. This state is definitely one to watch. So Nevada, I cannot make a characterization on. The pure toss-ups that went to the Democrats are Arizona and Indiana. Pure toss-ups that went to the Republicans, Missouri and Texas. Nevada, I cannot make a characterization on. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.